I'm back with another album review. Today's review is on the soundtrack for Beavis and Butt-Head to the Universe. Now, before reviewing the soundtrack, I need to talk about the movie. It talks about a sequel to Beavis and Butt-Head to America go back as far as the late 90s. But nothing had materialized for decades. In other words, the film is in development hell. And the film was announced in February 2021 and was released on Paramount Plus on June 23rd, 2022. You might be wondering how I have the film on Blu-ray. Well, this Blu-ray is actually an unofficial bootleg that I got from eCrater. This is how I was able to watch the movie for myself, because I don't have Paramount Plus. Now, and just like its predecessor, it had me laughing my ass off. Personally, I think it's almost as good as its predecessor. Now for the soundtrack. It was composed by John Frizzell, who also produced it with help from Dan Goldwasser. It was performed by the Synchron Stage Orchestra, and was recorded at Synchron Stage in Vienna, Austria. The associate producer was Nick Committee. The executive producers were M.V. Gerhard and Matt Verbois. The conductor was Bernhard Melby Voss. The contractor was Martin Barca. The coordinators were Stefan Steinbauer, Nick Committee, and Michael Murphy. The editor was Gary Krause. The engineer was Bernd Mazeg. The mixing was done by Scott Michael Smith and Bernd Mazeg, with assistance from Alberto Cruz and Florian Horzog. Now, the Pro Tools operator was Lucas Letzow. The mastering was done by Eric Ballinger, James Corino, and Jed Galindo at the Bakery in Culver City, California. The soundtrack was released on July 8th, 2022 on La La Land Records. Now let's talk about the songs. Keep in mind, this review will contain spoilers from the movie, so watch this review at your own risk. The soundtrack's intro is Beavis and Butt-Head to the Universe, main titles. It's basically the show's theme song, but performed by the Synchron Stage Orchestra to make it sound more dramatic. Does it work? Hell yeah, it does. Discogs says that Mike Judge was the composer for the song. The next track is A Tale of Two Heroes. Butthead tells a story about him and Beavis on a quest to score. After that is I See Our Failures. The boys accidentally burn down the gym, and the judge sends them to 2 months of space camp. Next up is Space Camp. The boys arrived at the Johnson Space Center, and Butthead thought it was funny that the sign said Johnson. Up next is NASA has a couple new astronauts. The boys completed their training to become mission specialists aboard Space Shuttle Endeavour. Funnily enough, Endeavour was also featured in Moonfall, which also came out in 2022. That's followed by a disaster in space. The boys blinded themselves by looking at the sun through a telescope and accidentally destroyed the Mir space station. We followed up with The Situation is Critical. The crew lost contact with Earth. Endeavour was damaged, but suffered a much worse fate in Moonfall. Right after that is The Elaborate Dance of Seduction. The boys performed a spacewalk thinking they were going to score with Serena. She sent them into a black hole that transported them to 2022. The following track is Smart Beavis and Smart Butthead. The boys met the super intelligent versions of themselves from an alternate universe. And these versions become recurring characters in the current revival. The track that comes next is Clear the Room. Serena discovered that the boys traveled from 1998 to 2022. The track that comes after that is Word That Starts with L. Beavis tries to admit that he loves Serena, even though he's talking to Siri on an iPhone that he got. The track that's next is It Really Is Them. I like how the songs are in chronological order this time. The track that follows is It Is We. There's one scene in the movie where the boys wind up on a college campus claiming that they have white privilege. What comes next is Request for Toilet Paper. The boys were sent to prison for stealing and crashing a cop car. Beavis ate a bunch of drugs and became Cornholio. Unsurprisingly, he needed TP for his bunghole. What comes after that is The Return of Cornholio. Dozens of other prisoners sided with Beavis, saying that they needed more toilet paper. What follows is Destroy Their Records. The warden ordered the boys' records to be destroyed and pardoned them. What's next is It's Been a Long Journey. The boys boarded a bus that took them to their house. What's after that is The Unicorn Ride. Beavis has a dream where he scores at Serena and she becomes his girlfriend. The next track is Captured. The boys are captured by the feds. After that is That Dirty Butthole. The boys thought that Jim was going to score with Serena, and Butt-Head called him a dirty butthole. The next track is Now Let's Go Score. Butt-Head started up a Kia Soul and eventually crashed it through the wall of the house. The actual car chase was the best scene from the movie, primarily because it featured my all-time favorite Black Sabbath song, Children of the Grave. Next up is Two Stupid Horny Teenagers. Serena learned that the boys only wanted to score with her rather than trying to kill her. Up next is The Entire Cosmos Shall Perish. Smart Beavis and Smart Butt-Head moved the portal to the boys' house and told them they had to go through it in order to prevent the destruction of both their universes. Jim got sucked into it, and that solved the problem. The second to last track is The Greatest Story Ever Told. That's what Butt-Head described the movie's story as. The soundtrack's outro is We Celebrate. Smart Beavis is celebrated as the first of his kind ever to score, while Smart Butt-Head watched. In other words, Smart Butt-Head is a cuck. The soundtrack comes with a bonus track called Beavis and Butt-Head Do the Universe, main title's alternate. It's basically an alternate version of the first track. The only information I can find regarding how the soundtrack performed commercially is that only 1,000 copies on CD were made. There are also various versions on vinyl, and those were released on Enjoy the Ride Records. The soundtrack has a 4.21 out of 5 on Discogs as of the making of this review. Now for my thoughts. I think this is a really good soundtrack. Bonus points for bringing back John Frizzell to do the music, because he nailed the shit out of it. There's no reason why the soundtrack to a Beavis and Butt-Head movie should be this good. In many ways, it's superior to the OST for the first movie. I also like how the songs are in chronological order this time, while the first movie's OST had the songs out of order. Overall, I highly recommend the soundtrack. Now's the part where I question you. Have you listened to the soundtrack for Beavis and Butt-Head Do the Universe? If so, what do you think about it? Well, what's your favorite song from it? What are your thoughts on them bring back John Frizzell? If you've seen the movie, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to press the notification bell to notify of future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with another another video.